What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here helping you take your game to the next level. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about man defense versus route running in Madden 18. Now, if this is your first time checking out one of my videos and you want to improve your Madden game, go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. Make sure to hit the bell icon so that you join the notification squad and never miss an upload. So what's going on, guys? Like I said, today we're going to be going over man defense versus route running. Which is truly better? Which is going to win the majority of the time? This is a question I get asked a lot, and I tend to lean on offense, and route running will probably win out most of the time, but I haven't actually tested this out myself, so we will be testing it together here in this video for the first time, so I don't know what's going to happen. Now, just for the sake of this video, I want to show you what we're going to be doing. So we're going to have Antonio Brown going against Jalen Ramsey, and I've edited their stats so that they kind of match up. So they're both going to be 92 speed, 94 excel, and 98 agility, because agility definitely matters in like man coverage. It definitely matters, for running your routes, making cuts and things like that. So they're both going to have 92 speed, 94 excel, 98 agility. Brown's going to have 99 route running, and Ramsey's going to have 99 man coverage. Brown is going to have 90 beat press, and Ramsey's going to have 90 press. So just to show you that they are equal, so there's no fooling around here. You see 92 speed, 98 agility, 94 excel. Go over here to his coverage stats. You have 99 man coverage and 90 press. So we're going to test this out versus regular man and the man plays that have the word press in the name, because I do believe that those are better. But we're going to see what happens here. So, let's see. We'll just pick some popular routes that beat man coverage. We'll use a C route first to start out. Here we'll come out in nickel, and we will use 2-man under or cover 2-man. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of just spy this safety, because I just want to take him out of the play. Spy these defensive ends so we don't get hit with a block. So I just kind of want to take them out of the play. So first we're going to look. This is man press, but it's just regular cover 2-man. It's so we're gonna see how Ramsey defends Antonio Brown on this C route, which is one of the better man beating routes. And you can see there he stuck him pretty good, but Antonio Brown definitely still won out there. So gonna try it again. Gotta try it a few times, at least get kind of a decent sample size to see what's better. And that is ridiculous. I rushed 2 people there. Hold on. This is ridiculous, EA. Like, what is going on here? I rushed 2 people. Look at this. He didn't even try to block him. Like, that's ridiculous, man. That is just oh, man. But anyway, absolutely ridiculous. But alright, so first time Antonio Brown got him. Not by much, but he got him enough. Second time, I feel like he got him by a little bit more there. So route running so far definitely looks like it is better, but we're going to try a bunch of different routes. We're going to try different styles of man defense and see which one wins out. So that time, Ramsey almost got a pick there. So 2 out of 3. So it shows you that man defense can work, but it's all about what are the odds? What do we have the best chance at? Because we don't want to run man defense, and then there Ramsey gets a pick. So 2 for 2, which is really good. It's really interesting because in years past, you pretty much couldn't run man defense at all most years. The offense was going to dominate every time, but it's nice that the defense has a chance to win out. And there, Ramsey got a pick again. So now Ramsey's actually winning the battle. So let's do it one more time. But it is nice that man defense has a possibility of winning out. And Ramsey again with the pick. So looks like man defense has a win right there, but we're going to try other routes, because while C routes are good man beating routes, I don't think they're as good at beating man as they have been in years past. I think they're a little weirder this year, if you will. So now we're going to we could just leave him like this. So we're just going to run like a slant here, because a slant's always like a go-to man beating route. And you see there he absolutely just torches Ramsey. And this is what I mean. I think it's going to depend. It's going to be dependent on routes, because as you saw the C route, Ramsey defended it pretty well. But on this slant here, you could see, like, there's not a lot of room for error on a slant, whereas, like, on that C route, even if you're trailing a little bit behind because of the nature of the type of route it is, you can still kind of undercut it and get the pick. Whereas with a route like this, if you get beat off the line, I mean, you can't recover. You can't recover if you're even if you're a little bit faster, you still can't recover. I mean, you can see here, Antonio Brown is, I mean, like right there, he just completely left him in his dust. So he has no shot on this. So I think what we're going to come to find out in this video just early on is that crossing routes are going to really be effective, but things such as corner routes and out routes might not be as effective. So speaking of out routes, let's try a smart routed out route. That is, you know, a very good, you know, typically a good man beating route. Let's see how this fares. And he left him in his dust there, so I would say overall so far, offense definitely wins the majority of the time. It's going to be very route dependent. Again, Antonio Brown beat him there. See, anything with a really sharp cut, I feel like the offense is going to win. Whereas, like, the C route isn't as sharp of a cut. See, I mean, it's like Ramsey's not that far out of position, but he's just he's not close enough to actually make a play on it. Especially if you time the throw right. Like, if you time it right on the break, I mean, he kind of has no chance. Like, he's really not in horrible position, but he's just a step too late, and that's all it takes. So as you can see, I mean, the route running, it looks like it's gonna win out the majority of the time. So let's just try a regular in route, not smart routed, just a regular old in route. Now that Ramsey was under that to me wouldn't be considered a good throw in game. That would be very risky. That would get picked off every now and then. Maybe not every time, but now that time Ramsey's a little bit too far out of position. So, like I said, I think a lot of these routes that have really sharp cuts in them, the route running is going to tend to win out. Like I said, C routes are tricky this year. Campbell is just like a savage. Like, I'm stepping up in the pocket every time, and he's still like getting to me. But C routes are known to be good man-beating routes. But like I said, like halfway through last year, like once like a certain patch happened, I feel like C routes have not been as good versus man. I mean, they still can be, but that's why I'm not gonna take that first route that we looked at and hold that as like gospel, because I know that C routes are kind of weird against man. It's easy for like DBs to undercut it. As you can see, like even on this little in route, Ramsey has no chance. He's just a couple steps behind every time. So let's back out. Let's go find some different type of routes here. Now let's see if we have gun bunch in this playbook. We do. So let's see what kind of routes we want to look at. Alright, corner strike would be a good one. Let's look at corner strike. And then we're going to just do, again, we're going to still do two-man under. We're going to try the press plays in a minute, but for right now, we're just going to do two-man under. So we're still going to press this defense here because, I mean, when you run man, you're typically going to press every time anyway. So let's see what happens here. And again, just getting toast because I believe this corner route, even if you press the defense, this corner route typically doesn't actually get pressed. It still gets a free release. And if you get a free release, I mean, with Antonio Brown's route running, it's going to, I mean, as you can see, it's going to beat man every time. If you can somehow get a press on him, it might be better. Just because, like I said, with corner routes and C routes and stuff like that, even if you kind of beat the guy off the press, because of the nature of the route, it's a little bit easier for them to undercut it. And we got hit with instant block shit there. But as you saw, it looked like Antonio Brown had the outside on him once again. So let's do this. Let's do it one more time. And that time, Ramsey actually got under it. So, that's, like I said, the nature of corner routes. You're going to be able to pick those off in man a little bit more sometimes just because of the nature of the route. Because even if you get beat, you're kind of drifting under it. And you can go up and make a play. But you see the majority of the time, though, Antonio Brown's having success there. So, let's back out of here now. So, those are kind of the main routes you would use to beat man. We could just look at, let's try to find just a regular crossing route really quickly and see if we can find one in here. Got post routes as well, but I mean most people don't look to use post routes to beat man. So we're gonna try this crossing route here from Antonio Brown and see how this fares. So again, we're gonna press the defense and we're gonna see what happens here. And yep, I mean, wasn't terrible coverage by Ramsey, but again, just probably about a step and a half too late there, and that's all it's going to take. Now, maybe if Antonio Brown was a couple speed points slower, maybe Ramsey could make up that ground. Now there he's actually, man, this block shit is just, it's unreal in practice mode sometimes. Now that time Ramsey definitely had it locked up. That probably would have been a pick if we threw it. But again, a lot of times, a lot of these crossing routes aren't, they don't cut as sharp as they used to in years past. So sometimes man defense can lock it down. So it seems very route dependent about, you know, what type of routes do they have a chance to defend. See there, he defended that pretty well. He was still about a half step behind, but he was close enough to kind of get his hand in there and force a drop. So you could see on certain crossing routes, I mean, again, Ramsey's pretty close that time. He's close enough to get a hand in there. So it's kind of very route dependent. So now, but I mean, obviously you could see that the route running has won out way more than the defense has won out. So now let's go run the same routes real quickly, but let's look at a press play. So we're going to look at cover one hole press. Now, I talked about this in a recent video. Typically, when you have the word press in the title, they tend to play man defense a little better. They tend to stick on their guys a little better. Let's see how that holds true in this video. Now there, he was still beat. So we're going to try it a few times, see what happens. But there, he was clearly beat. See what happens this time. Clearly beat again. Try it about 5 times each route, and then, you know, that'll be enough to get a decent idea. And that time he was close enough. If he would have actually got an animation there, he might have been able to pick that off. He didn't animate that time, which happens, but I mean that he definitely was close enough to make something happen. But yeah, it looks like Antonio Brown is still beating him pretty consistently. So it looks like the press play isn't really making a difference as far as this route goes. So all right, let's go on to the slant again, because last time, if you remember, the slant was just annihilating him every time. And I'm going to take this 3-receiver hook and just kind of drop him back, because I don't want him getting in the way over the middle. I just want to see how the slant works. So easily beat that time. Like I said, he's not getting absolutely torched, but I mean, it's a game. It is a game of inches, and then, I mean, those few steps are enough. Hey, I mean, he got blown off the line that time, but still, I mean, he's recovering really quickly, but just not close enough at all to really make a difference in stopping the play. I mean, you can see, I mean, clearly Antonio Brown, he's got him beat every time. So now we're gonna go check out the smart routed out route. Probably gonna be the same results. Let's see. And, I mean, it's just the route running just clearly is going to win out, it looks like, the majority of the time. But like I said, the cool thing is at least your man defense has a chance to win this year, whereas in years past it never had a chance. No matter what the route was, you never had a chance. At least this year you do have a chance to win, but as you can see, the offense still definitely has the advantage here. So let's go to the in route really quickly, just the regular in route. See what happens here. Again, Antonio Brown had him beat. Bad pass, but Antonio Brown had him beat pretty convincingly there. If the pass was good, that would have been completed for a decent gain. Again, has him beat. He hasn't beat enough to get yards after the catch, which is bad. We don't want that when we play defense. So yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. It doesn't really matter either way. If your wide receiver is equal to or better than the cornerback he's going against, you can pretty much bank on your wide receiver winning. I would say at least, just to be conservative, you can count on him winning 80% of the time. And maybe that's a little too much. Maybe in, future Maddens, we need to get that more balanced, make it more 50-50, because if they're 50-50 as far as the skills go, you should see 50-50 results. But clearly the offense still has a huge advantage. Now, man defense definitely still can work, but it really only works, like I said in the video that I made recently, it only works as a mix-in, because you can't run man every play, unless you have cornerbacks that are just far better than the wide receivers. If that's the case, then yes, you can run man every play. But when you have guys that are equal or better, you can count on the offense winning the majority of the time. Now, this is why I don't think man defense is as viable in regs as it is in Ultimate Team, because in Ultimate Team there are a lot of good cornerbacks. You can get, 4 cornerbacks on your team that have 97 plus man if you, chem them up and give them their boost. You can get, 4 guys that have 97 plus man, and there's not that many wide receivers that have 97 plus route running. And of course, if your cornerback has better press than that receiver has release, or, your cornerback has more agility, those things, can weigh out. If you can find 4 cornerbacks with 97 plus man that have, 94 plus agility, 94 plus press, and they're, 93, 94 speed, you can mix man in, especially cover 1 a lot, because if you're playing a lot of zone, you mix that man in and it catches people off guard. But you definitely can't run man as an every down defense, and that's what I kind of hoped this video would prove, because just from my knowledge of Madden and, past years, I know that man is just typically not viable, but there's still a lot of people that like to run it because they think it's safer. But if you're playing against anybody that knows what they're doing, you can see it's very easy to exploit. So man is only good as a mix-in, and I would say really more so only for Ultimate Team, because regs, there's not enough good man defenders on any given team. But yeah, the offense is going to win out the majority of the time, and I think, hopefully EA can maybe get this more balanced going forward, make it more of a 50-50 battle. I think that could be really interesting. But anyway, as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, just drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.